Funding for Greater Chattanooga is provided by EPB Fiber Optics, Unum, Cam Bush, and Ellen and Jay Hevelin.
You've all heard all the words about Wayne-A-Rama. Well, here I am to show you Wayne-A-Rama. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Wayne Watt, and I'm here to blow your minds. When I was a kid growing up in Chattanooga in the 60s, tourist attractions like Confederama, the Incline, Rock City, Ruby Falls, that was my first idea of art in a way, because like art, it took landscape and history and heightened them and made them sexier. So I thought it was really appropriate and even thrilling to come back here to Chattanooga and create my own tourist attraction.
Shaking Ray started with a couple of incredible individuals who had a vision for the city to find other like-minded artists throughout the world who shared a passion for improvisation.
I met Bob Stagner and Dennis Palmer for the first time. It was 2009. Three weirdos that loved art. I can't believe that our paths hadn't crossed till then, but luckily they did.
We were traveling in these circles together. I said, Wayne, let's celebrate all the things in Chattanooga that influenced you. And we'll call it Wayne-A-Rama, much like the old Confederama.
So, lo and behold, a joke becomes reality, which happens often in life.
Dennis died in 2013, and the project was still on the table, and we said, we got to do this. You know, it's one of those once-in-a-lifetime deals that if you don't do it, you're probably going to regret it all your life. And I'm glad we did.
I'm still kind of flexible. We set up a process that took 4 years of steady, careful fundraising, pitching it, researching where we were going to build it.
Wayne early on told me, almost in a warning, he said, Bobby, there's going to be a tribe.
The excitement had been building up. Just the love of his work, the love of the synergy that surrounds his movement. When I was a kid, watching like Pee Wee's Playhouse, that's like a memory I have when I was little. And when the opportunity actually came, I was trying whatever I could just to be on the ground and help out.
From day one, people would show up. Slow trickle to begin with, regionally and then locally and then nationally.
They're so big, I do have to work with other people. I can't do it all myself. It's just been a clarion call for Southern artists. They've been coming up from Birmingham and Atlanta, down from Nashville, Virginia, North Carolina.
They're traveling here, and it just made me like, man, this is in my backyard. I feel so lucky.
That's been amazing too. It's getting to know these people shoulder to shoulder, doing what we want to do, what we love to do.
First, they're a drawing. Everything is a drawing first. I have to think with drawings.
If you could picture the Magic Lookout Mountain being drawn on a piece of brown paper, the spine. And at one point, Wayne looked over and said, we're in country now, Bobby. And this, before you know it, all these beautiful layers are existing. Well, the whole time that was happening, you had constant puppet making. You had knee-deep in styrofoam, you had knee-deep in cardboard.
It was a back and forth, him showing me what I needed to do, and eventually we had one of those heads.
We got him all to a certain point, and then he had to like leave, and then so it was kind of on us to finish it and to do the Glass Street parade. Literally the day before the parade, when we were trying to do like our first rehearsal with these 20-foot gangly puppets, we had to do a lot of like on-the-fly engineering to make it work. There you go. Eve! What's that noise?
I think it's great that there's a community of artists in Chattanooga, of people that are full of passion and energy to create something like Wayne-A-Rama. And what's more friendlier than a clubhouse of like-minded people?
People say the Chattanooga way is that you don't, and you can't do anything in this world by yourself. But I think sometimes a lot of folks feel isolated. So it was nice to see a lot of these artists that may have felt a little bit isolated, like the Island of Broken Toys.
It was nice to work alongside other people for a while and remind myself that I am just a tool for creation and that I can be used alongside other tools for creation.
Problem solving is a huge thing that you've got to be able to do under pressure, no budget, deadline. Like sometimes that's where the best stuff happens, when all of those forces come together and they're like crunching down, then like magic happens. His eyes fell out!
We're sitting in an exhibit where everybody who entered this room pushed their abilities to the best they could do. The best they could do, whether it was limited resources or limited time or limited space or whatever, the best they could do.
That time, the crunch time, and it was literally like, we're opening in a couple days, and people started freaking out and stressing out.
History's alive, and we're sitting in the middle of a place that has a rich history and keeps moving.
I never could understand why people thought history was boring, you know. As a child, as an innocent child, I just loved it for the pure fantasy of it all. Vanished worlds that you could imagine. I didn't want to do the usual politicians and athletes and things. I wanted to do people I was interested in, or people that don't usually get their story told as much as others.
I have to say, there's nothing like being able to watch kids in that space. We get like school groups coming in. They've just never seen anything like this.
They're learning history because it's visual. So many people are visual learners, and when you have something, especially in the scale that it's presented, it's gonna stick with you. It's just some creativity. If you can think it, that you can make it. And I think that that's the message the kids got, that it's something that they could do. And that's a huge boost, I think, for the arts in our community, is making it accessible in that way, where you tear down all those barriers.
About Chattanooga history.
It fills my heart with joy, it really does, to have kids come up to me and be like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
Thank you, Wayne!
The Chattanooga response has been steady, it's been positive, it's been growing. Wow, I didn't know this was here. Wow, I didn't know that history of this. Wow, I can't drive down the road without seeing that in a different way.
I have grown to appreciate this city of Chattanooga so much more for the time that I've spent there. Most of the out-of-towners that come from really far away, they're there because of Wayne. They're there because they know who he is and that they want to see this.
You have these people that are jealous. Why didn't we do it here? You can do it there. Now go home and make your own Wayne-A-Rama. You know, I want to come and be inspired by it.
This is an unusual concept. Most cities don't have a history funhouse, you know, and to see history so presented in such a accessible and fun kind of way is eye-opening for a lot of people. A lot of people told me Wayne-A-Rama's changed the whole conversation about art in Chattanooga, and that just thrills me. To be able to come in and stir up the pot and get things cooking, yeah, it's great.
The opportunity for Wayne to be celebrated in the Hunter Museum of American Contemporary Art is a logical dovetail with what we're doing with this exhibit.
I think we've been forever changed. You know, I don't think that we're going to go back and into these little silos. I think Wayne's splash was so big that we'll feel this for decades to come.
It's amazing. You kidding? It's the greatest feeling in the world. Again, I keep saying this, it's what every artist wants, in a way, to be validated by a place that you rebelled against, you know? And to be validated and embraced by the city that you thought you had to reject is very heartwarming.
If you're a fan of Greater Chattanooga, support it. Becoming a sustaining member of WTCI is easy and affordable, and it makes a big difference. Visit greaterchattanooga.org/donate. Thanks.